Stop Feeling Safe. Chapter 2. Collision. The library was the only place that still felt entirely hers. It wasn't just quiet. It was a different kind of quiet. Not the empty silence of being alone, but a full one, layered with soft page turns, distant footsteps, and the faint hum of something steady and unchanging. It wrapped around her like something familiar, reliable, safe. No expectations, no comparisons, just stillness. That's why it startled her so much when it broke. She wasn't paying attention. She rarely needed to. No one ever occupied the narrow aisles she preferred, tucked between older shelves that most students ignored in favor of more popular sections. It was her space. So when she turned the corner, she didn't slow down and walked straight into him. The impact knocked the breath from her lungs. Not metaphorically, completely. It felt like hitting something solid, something unmoving, like colliding with a wall that somehow breathed. The force sent a jolt through her, sharp and unexpected, and her book slipped from her hands, hitting the floor with a dull, echoing thud that sounded far too loud in the quiet space. For a second, everything blurred. Sorry. The word was low, rough, almost reluctant. Amelia blinked, trying to steady herself, her heart stumbling into an uneven rhythm as she looked up. And for a moment, everything stopped. He wasn't just tall. He was overwhelming. Not just in height, but in presence. Dark hair fell messily across his forehead, uneven strands catching shadows in a way that made it hard to tell where light ended and darkness began. Tattoos traced up his arms in intricate patterns, disappearing beneath the sleeves of a tight compression shirt that made every movement look controlled, deliberate. There was something sharp about him, something guarded, something dangerous. Not in a loud, obvious way, but in the quiet stillness of someone who didn't need to prove anything. He stood there like the space belonged to him, even though it didn't. Like he carried something heavier than what showed on the surface. But none of that was what held her there. It was his eyes, dark, focused, locked onto hers. And in that single suspended second, it didn't feel like he was looking past her, or through her. It didn't feel like she was background noise or something easily overlooked. It felt like he saw her, fully, directly, like she existed in a way she wasn't used to. The thought startled her more than the collision itself. It was unfamiliar, unsettling, almost too much. And just as quickly as it came, it was gone. He stepped back, breaking the moment without another word. The connection snapped so abruptly it left something hollow in its place. He bent down, picking up a thick, worn book from the floor, one that hadn't even belonged to her, and turned without a hesitation, disappearing between the shelves as quietly as he had appeared. No explanation. No second glance. Nothing. The silence rushed back in, but it didn't feel the same anymore. Amelia stood there longer than she meant to, her fingers curling slightly at her sides, her heart still beating unevenly, as if it hadn't quite caught up with the moment. Something lingered, something unfamiliar, because for the first time in a long time, being unseen didn't feel like a certainty. It felt like something fragile, something that had just cracked, and that crack followed her, out of the library, through the rest of her day, all the way